Hello and welcome to yet another brand new week here on my channel, and my name is Samantha. As promised, I'm going to be sharing with you the second palette from Focallure, and this one is called Burning. So I've already shared with you one palette, and I have also shared with you a contour and highlight palette, so of course that will be linked down below, as well as the link to check this palette out on their website, and I'll also link their Instagram page as well down below for you, so you can check out the brand if, like me, it is brand new to you. But here is the actual packaging. It is matte, it's called Burning, and of course the packaging reflects that, so it's very flame inspired. You've got the name of the brand there, and then on the back you've got the ingredients as well as the fact that it is cruelty free. So like I said, you can see that that is matte, so let's have a look at the actual palette. And it is very, very shimmery. It's absolutely beautiful. So the outer packaging, the details on there, is also transferred onto the actual palette. So you've got the name of the palette as well as the brand name and those beautiful colours there. And then of course you've got the ingredients and that it is cruelty free. But let's have a look at the shades. First of all though, there is a mirror. It is a very good quality mirror, and there's a sheet there on it. I don't know if you can just see, but you can peel that off there. And then actually I just want to share the brush. I didn't share that with you first time round, so I'll just show you that, because actually I'm quite pleased with this, because it is, you know, it's a nice brush. I mean, I'm not really keen on those sponge tipped applicators. Just because I find the only thing that I can use them for is perhaps in a corner highlight or just to smudge out the under the lash line there. But this is actually not too bad. So it is a mini, and you just take off the plastic and you have a double-ended brush. Now, I have been in a situation where I went away and I took my makeup, but I forgot my brushes, and I had to actually buy some brushes for an overnight stay. So if I'd have taken this brush, I could have used it. Obviously I'm probably not going to use it on a day-to-day basis, but if this is all that I had, I would certainly make it work. So you've got a fluffy end there, so obviously you could lay down your base there, and then you've got a firmer, much more flatter end there, so you could go into the crease, carve out your brow, and you know, if I was absolutely desperate, which I was on that one trip, I could add a little bit of highlight. So I could certainly use this brush, and it is, even though it is a mini, still a good quality brush. But let's have a look at the shades. These are beautiful. Now, I loved that first palette. I absolutely loved it. I was so impressed with the quality, so I cannot wait to see what this one is like on the eye, as well as the swatches. So let's get into the swatches, shall we? Now we've got the first shade, which is matte, and it's called Antique White, and it's a beautiful blush pink. So that's Antique White, stunning. Then we have Peach Puff, which is a shimmer, and it looks like that. So it's just your standard very light shimmer. Then we move on to, I think, one of my favourite shades called Sienna. A beautiful yellow, well, it's like a sunset yellow, isn't it? Sienna. And again, in this palette, just like the first one, you have a mix. So there's three different formulas. You've got a matte, you've got a shimmer, and then you have much more of a textured shimmer, which is this next one called Diamond. Again, it's like a duochrome. And again, it's very, very, it is textured, but it's also got little particles of glitter. You can see that there. Now, the last palette had much more of a pink shift to it. This one is a little less pink, but it's still got a pink shift. Now, we're on to the next row. So the first shade is called Lit Up, and it's one of their shimmers. Oh, that is beautiful. That is very, very flame inspired, absolutely stunning. And then the next one is called That one was called Lit Up, if I didn't say the name of it, that shimmery one, that one there. The next one is called Tiramisu, and it is a matte. So there is that one, Tiramisu. Then we have a Charcoal Fire. Oh, this one looks beautiful as well. So that is Charcoal Fire. And then the last one on the second row is called Ember. So there's Ember. So if you love those warm shades, you're going to love this palette. Now on to the third and last row, and we start off with, again, one of those textured eyeshadows called Queen. So there's Queen. Like I say, you can see that it is different to the other shimmers, and it's got little specks of glitter in there, absolutely beautiful. And then we have a matte shade called Pottery, which is like a coral red, very much like the Queen shade, but it is a matte. As you can see, that's a little bit more coral actually than Queen. Then we move into another matte shade called The Night. So this is your matte brown called The Night. And then the very last shade, I think I'm going to have to get a wipe. What I don't want to do, because it is a beautiful yellow shade and I don't want to mix up the colours. I want you to get a true representation of that yellow. And this one is called Skyline. And there's Skyline, absolutely beautiful. So there's all of your shadows, 12 shadows in total. And like I say, if you really love those sunset colours, those beautiful warm flame inspired shades, you will love that or this palette. So let's get into the actual eyeshadow. So I'm going to kickstart this off with a eye and crease contour brush from Primark, numbered 251. Really love this. Now, I don't think I'm going to go sunsetty. You could go, you know, and put yellow down, then orange. What I want to show you is that although, yes, they've got some really bright shades in here, I want to keep away from that sunset kind of look. And I might go yellow, not quite sure yet, but I'm going to start off with the shade Antique White, which is that pink shade. As always, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but I don't want to do another sunset look. I feel that that is quite summery when obviously now into winter, so I want something warm, I want something beautiful. So let's go into, I've already set my eye with obviously a primer from Revolution Pro, my usual. All of the extra makeup that I am wearing today will be down below for you to check out. So this one is Antique White. I really like the fact that they've added something a little bit different. Now, although it looked quite pink, it goes on quite peachy pink on the eye, and that in itself is a beautiful shade. Really love that actually. Something a little bit different, isn't it? Ooh. Love that on its own with a little bit of a eyeliner. That would look beautiful. Obviously I want to give you a little bit more today rather than one eyeshadow. I don't think that would suffice for a tutorial. I'm going into now Tiramisu. These are again very pigmented, just like the first palette. I know that when I dipped my brush in for that from that first palette, I think it was called Sunset, I was very impressed with the quality of the eyeshadow. It's so pigmented and you hardly have to touch the palette to get such good payoff. So I'm now going to go into the crease over the top of the first shade, but not as high. Obviously we're going to layer the shadows and I want you to see, you know, how well they layer as well. So this is Tiramisu. gorgeous. Also, what I will say is now, and this is another reason why I did the 2 videos separate, so that I could obviously test out the eyeshadows and then let you know in this video my thoughts on, you know, longevity, do they wear well, and things like that. What I will say is that the matte eyeshadow lasted beautifully. The shimmer started to fade a little bit, but I do tend to get that anyway, just because I've got a little bit of hoodedness on my eyes. So where my eyes rubbed, the shimmer faded, but it still looked pretty good even after about 8 to 9 hours. So very, very pleased with the quality of the eyeshadows. You know, I didn't have any problems at all, and yeah, really, really love these. Well, love the palette that I tried out first of all. Now that was my fluffy brush. I'm now changing now to a Primark eye contour brush, and what am I going to go into now? That is the thing. Do I go into red, try and match my eyeshadow? What shall I do? I think I will. I'll go into the red, and that shade is Pottery. So it is very vibrant and very bright. But like I say, I need to layer these just to see how they layer for you and all of that. So you may not want to obviously create this look yourself, or perhaps you do. But of course, we need to know how they layer. So that is very bright, very vibrant, nearly as vibrant as my earrings, but this is a little bit more coral than it is red, but still lovely colour. All of the colours are melting into one, which is nice. You're not getting any separation. Sometimes when you put on some shadows, you get a line of one, a line of another, and so on. But not with this one. They're melting into each other, which is what you want, blending into each other, I suppose. Like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Pottery and I'm going to put it underneath the eye, and then I will add a more neutral colour to neutralise the red and show you how my technique that I use a lot for neutralising brighter colours to make them a little bit more wearable if you, like me, are a little bit new to brighter colours. Love that. Really love those colours together. Now what I'm going to do is go into the Night there. So in this one, that is your only neutral matte shade. So it is the one that I'm going to use. And what I do is a technique that I have been using just to neutralise my eye look. So you can see that this is very red, and I like to wear colour, but I don't necessarily like to wear a lot of colour. I want it to be quite neutral as well as bright, if you see what I mean. So what I'm going to do is just add the brown onto the outer third of the eye and in the crease, and then what that does is it makes the look much more wearable, and it gives me the colour, but it also makes it a little bit more neutral. So if you, like me, are a little bit, you know, colour shy, I suppose, this will help. I think at this time of year it's nice to wear brighter colours. You know, it's very cold. It's very sunny here actually in Norfolk today. But a lot of the time, especially January, February time, it's quite bleak, isn't it? Okay, now I'm going to go back to my fluffy brush, and I'm just going to get a little bit more of Pottery and just go over the top, because what I feel I've done is cancelled out a little bit too much of that. So you can still see the red, you can still see the brown, but it just looks much more wearable, doesn't it? So than the other side. So again, I'm going to do that on the outer third. Now, what I will say about this brown is it's very, I don't know, it's okay, but it seems a little bit like it hasn't got any depth. So if you don't like too deep a brown, you might actually like this, because some browns, I feel, when you put them on, they actually look more like a black, but this is a true brown. So again, just going underneath the eye, just to make sure that, you know, we neutralise that a little bit. I really like those colours together. So you can see it looks very neutral, even though we've got red on our eye. And, you know, like I say, I used to be very, very shy of colour until I did this technique. And yeah, it just makes colour more wearable for me. But the brown is also working very well and blending into the red. I'm obviously just working it a little bit just because I've got hooded lids, but it's blended beautifully. Sometimes when you have a vibrant colour and then you add a brown, sometimes it just doesn't blend, but these are blended absolutely beautifully. Now the difficult bit, what colour do I put on the lid? I really like that Ember. Or do I go with Sienna, the yellow? No, I'm going to go in with Ember, which was this one here. That one there. Or should I go in with the yellow? No, I'm going to keep to Ember. And I think I'm going to use the yellow on the inner corner. That is gorgeous. Oh, stunning. I like how this colour matches the matte base so well. I really like that with eyeshadows, when you can match. Okay, that is gorgeous. Now I'm going to pick up my 250 brush, and it is the pencil and powder smudge brush. So it looks like that is much more of a point, and I'm going to go in with that bright yellow called Sienna. Put that all around the inner corner and blend that into the lid shade. Gorgeous. I had to incorporate yellow because I love it so much. Absolutely stunning. So that is the eyeshadow look, the base done basically. I might actually get a little bit of Sienna and just go into the middle. So the yellow shade, and just give myself a little bit of a spotlight there. Gorgeous. Okay, now what I'm going to do is add eyeliner. If I can get the lid off, I had a real job to, there we go. I don't know why, it's always so difficult. All other products will be listed down below. And of course I'm going to add mascara. Just want to get my hair out of the way. It's again very, very wild today because I've washed it. Oh, love that eye look. Okay, so that is the eye look complete. So what I've done is I've given you, I suppose, a brighter look. I didn't want to go to that, you know, sunset. I could really have gone very sunset, you know, with the yellow first, the orange, and then, you know, all of that. But I wanted to stay away from that and give you a kind of wearable look using some brighter colours and the yellow as well, but using it in a different way to the sunset. Really, really love that coral. I can't call it red because it's got a little bit of coral there. So yeah, really love that. Love the lid shade, and then when I added the yellow on the lid as well, it really made the lid pop. So basically what I have shown today is that the eyeshadows, the mattes layer beautifully, and so do the shimmers. Really, really love them. And also the shimmer worked beautifully on a brush. I know that I used one of the more textured eyeshadows, didn't I, on the inner corner in the first video, and it was a little bit of a job to actually get that onto the inner corner using the brush, because I think those work better with a finger. But actually with a regular shimmer, because, you know, I mentioned at the beginning that you've got three you know, eyeshadows, your matte, your regular shimmer, and then those textured shimmers. Yeah, but this time worked beautifully. Absolutely love it. Love the look. Stunning. Nearly matches my earrings, which is great. So as always, I would love to hear your thoughts on this palette. I would also love for anyone who has purchased from this website that I will link down below. If you've purchased anything from this brand before, please let me know. I know that sometimes people are a little bit wary of purchasing from, you know, brands that you've not heard of before. So I would love to hear from anyone who has purchased from this brand. Of course, I had no issues whatsoever. It took, I think, about 10 days for delivery for the items to arrive, but apart from that I had no issues whatsoever. Everything came very well wrapped, beautifully presented, no problems whatsoever. So I would like to hear your thoughts on that if you have ordered from this brand. And that will also let anybody who's thinking of ordering, you know, give them the confidence perhaps to purchase as well. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, as well as the look, as well as the palette. And of course, if you have just stumbled across my channel, I would love it if you subscribed and watched more videos. But as always, until tomorrow, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.